Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the Game Awards and I'm also going to vote. Let's get started. If you're not familiar with the Game Awards, in a nutshell, it's kind of like the Academy Awards, but instead of movies, it's video games. The Game Awards is produced and hosted by Jeff Keighley. He's been in the game industry since about 1994, and the Video Game Awards have been around since about 2014. On the Wikipedia page, there's some interesting information and one thing that I really wanted to point out. So it does provide a list of the overall Game of the Year winners, not the individual category winners, but the overall historical Game of the Year winners. But one thing that I did want to point out here was take a look at the viewers. It started out at 1.9 million and has ballooned in a very short period of time to 26.2 million viewers. In my opinion, this is huge. This shows a huge growth for the Game Awards and is really good for the game industry as well. Now, if you're curious as to how these games get nominated for an award, it's done by a voting jury. So it says here on the website, nominations for the Game Awards are I think that's a typo. I'll reread this. Nominations for the Game Awards are selected by a voting jury of 80 leading media and influencer outlets across the globe. Now, scrolling down the page a little bit, you can see all of the outlets that are responsible for nominating these games. They are listed by country, and a lot of them are very notable outlets. First category, Game of the Year, recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. So that's the very first game to vote on here. They've listed Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Sekiro, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and The Outer Worlds. Now, in terms of who's going to win this, I would say Death Stranding has a very good chance considering it was just released. It's being talked about all over the internet, and it is Kojima's first game on his own. So I will say that this one has a very big chance of winning because of the popularity of the game right now. But I'm going to vote for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I think this is a great game. There's a lot of great cameos from other franchises. A lot of love goes into this game, and it is a huge game with a lot of content. Now, it's a game that can be played with friends and family of all ages. The characters are completely recognizable, in my opinion anyway, and I really think that this is a good game. So I'm going to click this one, vote now. So I'm voting for Super Smash Bros. Now for action game, for the best game in the action genre focused primarily on combat. Apex Legends, Astral Chain, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Devil May Cry 5, Gears 5, Metro Exodus. As to what game is going to win this category, this is very difficult. These are all very good games. Apex Legends has a lot of popularity. Astral Chain was a great game. Call of Duty Modern Warfare has a massive fan base, and that fan base alone might just push it through. I'm going to vote for Devil May Cry 5 because I love that franchise. I really do. I love the story. I love the combat. So I'm going to vote for Devil May Cry 5. Now, if I want, I can always cancel my vote. If I wanted to cancel Devil May Cry 5 and maybe vote for Astral Chain, I could. I'm going to keep it at Devil May Cry 5 for now, but just note you are not locked in immediately. You do have the option to change, especially if you misclick. Looking at the next category. The next category is Action Adventure Game. For the best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. So taking a look at these here, there's Borderlands 3, Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, and again Sekiro. This is a tough category, it really is. I mean, Death Stranding could run away with this one, Sekiro could, Control could. I'm going to vote for Resident Evil 2 because I really think that Resident Evil 2 was a very well done game. It paid very close attention to the original Resident Evil. It looks great, it plays great. It's very, very interesting of a game. I would say very, very interesting remake. One of the ones that they do right. Now, I mean, Link's Awakening was also a great remake, but I just think Resident Evil 2 overall was a better presentation for an action adventure, almost horror game. I don't know if that's a different category, but anyways, Resident Evil 2 has my vote. The next category is art direction for outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. So the games here listed are Control, Death Stranding, Gris, Sayonara Wild Hearts, Sekiro, and Link's Awakening. Now for this category, it's interesting because people's choices in art, people's tastes in art Very greatly. I mean, there's a big difference between, for example, Sayonara Wild Hearts and Link's Awakening and Death Stranding. They all are presented extremely different. So in terms of who I'm voting for on this, I'm going to say Link's Awakening because it's very unique. I love what Nintendo did. I love how the game looks. It's really something out of all of these games. It was the one game that really captured my attention with its visuals when I saw the initial trailer for it. So that's why it's got my vote. Now, scrolling down the list a little bit, we can see audio design, recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. So Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Control, Death Stranding, Gears 5, Resident Evil 2, and Sekiro. This one's pretty quick for me. I'm going to vote for Gears 5. So scrolling down a little bit here to community support, recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness. So the nominees for this are Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Now, personally, I think Fortnite runs away with this category. I say you can maybe make an argument for Destiny 2, but Fortnite, really, love it or hate it, I would say Fortnite with the community support behind it, it's huge. It's a cultural game right now, and it still is. It's actually still keeping up. It's lost a little momentum, but still incredibly popular. And they've had things like Thanos in the game, John Wick. So I really think from a community support standpoint, Fortnite wins this one hands down. And it's actually got my vote because I really think other games, other developers can really learn from Fortnite and the amount of community support it has. I think it's a great inspiration for other games. So moving on from here, the next category is Content Creator of the Year, for a streamer or content creator who has made an important and positive impact on the industry in 2019. So the nominees are Courage, Dr. Lupo, Ewok, Grefk, and Shroud. Now, looking at these content creators that are nominated here, something just doesn't look right. And I can't quite put my finger on it, but something looks wrong. Maybe if I was to scroll down and pose beside one of them, draw an imaginary box around me, because I really thought I would have been nominated on this. But I guess there's always next year, right? But in all seriousness, these are all great content creators. I really think it's going to come down to who's the most popular, who's going to win this one. For me, I'm just going to vote for Shroud, and let's move on. The next category is Esports Coach. The Esports Coach judged to be the most outstanding for performance and conduct in 2019. So the nominees are Arden, Kane, Grabs, Koma, Soxka, and Zonic. So for me, I really don't know. I have the hardest time saying this guy's name. So you got my vote, buddy. Let's move down a little bit here. Esports event, recognizing a singular event across single or multiple days that delivered a best of class experience for participants, in-person fans, and the broadcast audience. So the nominees are the Overwatch Grand Finals, EVO 2019, Fortnite World Cup, IEM Katowice, League of Legends World Championships, and the International 2019. So I am completely biased in this. I think Overwatch or Fortnite might win, actually League of Legends, but I'm voting for EVO 2019 because I went there. So I really liked EVO 2019. It's a fighting game tournament. I did a bunch of videos on it, and I enjoyed myself. So I'm voting EVO 2019. Scrolling down from there, Esports Game of the Year, for the game that has delivered the best overall esports experience to players, inclusive of tournaments, community support, and content updates, irrespective of genre platforms. So the nominees are Counter-Strike, Dota, Fortnite, League of Legends, and Overwatch. This is a tough category. These are all behemoth events. League of Legends is probably going to win this one, my guess. I'm going to vote for Dota. So I'm just going to vote for Dota and move on from there. The next category is Esports Host. The best host or commentator of esports events, both in venue and or broadcast in 2019, irrespective of game or language. So they have a bunch of hosts here, different languages. I honestly don't know who's going to win. Again, I think it's going to come down to popularity. I'm not familiar with all of them in great detail, so I'm just going to vote for Paul because I'm familiar with Paul Redeye when he's commentating. So there goes my vote. And that's probably how a lot of people will vote. But let's scroll down a little bit more here to esports player. The esports player judged to be the most outstanding for performance and conduct in 2019, irrespective of game. The next category is esports team, recognizing an individual esports team judged the most outstanding for performance and conduct in 2019. So for this one, we have Astralis, G2 Esports, OG, San Francisco Shock, and Team Liquid. So I'm going to vote for Team Liquid on here because they have like Captain America jerseys and I like that. We'll move on from there. Family game, for the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. So the nominees on this are Luigi's Mansion 3, Ring Fit Adventure, Super Mario Maker 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Yoshi's Crafted World. Now I will say, Smash being in here, some people may argue that a fighting game is not appropriate for families, but I have a different opinion on that, and I would say Smash Brothers is absolutely fine for families, so that's my vote. I'm voting for Smash Bros. Ultimate because I think it's a great family game. Now the next category, fighting game, for the best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat. And this is my favorite category because I'm a massive fighting game fan. This is actually my favorite category over Game of the Year. So here are the nominees: Dead or Alive 6, Jump Force, Mortal Kombat 11, Samurai Showdown, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So this is interesting, very, very interesting, because there are some games in here that I'm surprised. Actually, there's just one game in here that I'm surprised is in here, and that's Jump Force. I could have named another game to take its place instead. I don't know why Jump Force is in here, and that seems to be also the community's opinion. In my opinion, this isn't the best game. I don't think at all in this category, but it may win because people think it's a joke entry. And I'm not saying that to disrespect the game by any stretch of the imagination. I'm really not. But in the fighting game community, Jump Force is not anywhere remotely close to the most popular game or the most played game. I would say that is reserved for these three games here. Smash being the most popular by a landslide. Samurai Showdown and Mortal Kombat also being popular games, but not anywhere close to Smash Brothers. And then, in my opinion, it's Smash Brothers. Then we have Tekken and also Street Fighter. And then under that flow the other games, Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue and all that stuff. So in terms of the game that's going to win this and the game that I'm going to vote for, I just don't know here. This is really tough. I mean, Mortal Kombat 11, great game. I support the developers on this one. Samurai Showdown, I love what SNK is doing. I really do. You know, I like that company. I like the effort they're putting in. The game is great, Samurai Showdown. But again, this isn't about the company. This isn't about anything other than strictly looking at the game. And this is where Smash Brothers, I mean, it's up for Game of the Year. It's an incredibly popular game, huge variety of things to do in the game, but strictly for fighting, that's where I think this differs a little bit. And yes, you can argue because the fighting game community doesn't always look positively on Smash Brothers because it's so different. But at the same time, it's hard to argue because Smash Brothers is such a great game and they've introduced so many great things. I'm sorry I'm taking so long on this category. It's just, this is a really hard vote for me. This is probably the hardest vote in the entire awards. And I want to give it to Smash because, I mean, they even have Terry coming in as a guest character. So I don't know here. Just in pure combat, in pure fun, in pure replayability, I mean, to me, it's Mortal Kombat's good too. Samurai, this is tough. This is really tough. And I mean, I gave Smash my vote for Game of the Year, but that shouldn't matter because this is a different category altogether. Don't hate me for this one. I don't know. For pure gameplay experience, this is tough. I might vote Samurai Showdown. Smash Brothers though, but purely as a fighting game, I gotta block out all of the other modes. All of the other modes, block it out from Smash. Everything else, just strictly as a fighting game. Right to its core. Strictly as a fighting game. I'm giving this one to Samurai Showdown. I really am. Because I think from a fighting game perspective, a one-on-one, without having to turn down items, without banning stages or anything like that, just purely as a fighting game, stripping out all other modes, I really think Samurai Showdown has it. But if you're talking about all the other modes and variety and all that stuff, Smash would be a runaway winner, I think. But strictly, I'm rambling, let's just move on. Fresh indie game. Recognizing a new independent studio that released its first game in 2019. I really like this category. I think this is great. Let's see here. So we have the games that, we'll just say the games, and then that way it's easier to associate the studio. So we have Disco Elysium, Gris, for My Friend Pedro, Outer Worlds, Slay the Spire, and Untitled Goose Game. So for House for their very first game, this one to me wins. I want to say that because it's very, very, it's not just a meme game. Like there's some really interesting elements here. They tried. I'm voting for Goose Game because if not, the Goose is going to steal my stuff. Game Direction, awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. So the games that are up are Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Sekiro, and Outer Wilds. Now the only game that isn't nominated for Game of the Year out of these is Outer Wilds. In terms of my vote on this one, I'm voting for Death Stranding. Next category, Games for Impact, for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. So this is interesting. So we have Concrete Genie, Gris, Kind Worlds, Life is Strange 2, and Sea of Solitude. For this one, I think Gris wins. Next category for independent game, for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. So we have Baba Is You, Disco Elysium, Katana Zero, Outer Worlds, and Untitled Goose Game. I chose Untitled Goose Game before, and honestly, for independent, they're going to win one of these categories. Katana Zero gets my vote here. I think it's better than Goose Game. So because Katana Zero, you've got my vote. Now let's move down to mobile game. For the best game playable on a dedicated mobile device. So we have Call of Duty Mobile, Grindstone, Sayonara Wild Hearts, Sky, Children of the Light, and What the Golf. So for this one, Sayonara Wild Hearts has my vote. Let's move down to multiplayer game. For outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, introducing co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform. So the nominees are Apex Legends, Borderlands 3, Call of Duty, Tetris 99, or Tom Clancy's The Division 2. Well, Tetris 99 wins to me. That is a very good game, very fun multiplayer game, and fun for a wide variety of players, a wide audience. So narrative, for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. So we have A Plague Tale: Innocence, Control, Death Stranding, Disco Elysium, and The Outer Worlds. So this is for outstanding storytelling and narrative. Really, I don't know on this one. I mean, it could go to Death Stranding. Let's vote Control. That looks good to me. I think Control fits in well here. For ongoing game, awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. So the nominees are Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy, Fortnite, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. So for ongoing game, this is a tough one. I think either Destiny 2 or Fortnite. But I mean, Fortnite, I don't know. I think Destiny 2 wins this because they have raids, things to do. Yes, Destiny 2 for me wins this category. All right, we're almost done. Performance, awarded to an individual for voice-over acting, motion, and or performance capture. This is interesting. So we have Ashley, Courtney, Laura, Mads, Matthew, and Norman. So this is very interesting, and I think a lot of this is probably going to come down to popularity. Now, in terms of overall performance. This is tough. This is really, really tough. These are all well known in the gaming industry now, after their performances. This is tough. I mean, Laura Bailey's been in a ton of things. Mads Mikkelsen, I don't know. I think Norman Reedus gets this, in my opinion. He was in a lot of those Death Stranding trailers, and really the performance he gave, just even in those trailers, was amazing. And he's got my vote for this. Yes, Norman Reedus for performance. Scrolling down to role-playing game. For the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. So this is interesting. So we have Disco Elysium, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, Monster Hunter World, and The Outer Worlds. Wow. So this is a tough category. For me, Monster Hunter, hands down. I really think the customization, the different play styles, everything you can do in the game, and the multiplayer experience, especially with friends, wins. I really think Monster Hunter for sure. Score and music. For outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack. So we have Cadence of Hyrule, Death Stranding, Devil May Cry 5, Kingdom Hearts, and Sayonara Wild Hearts. This is tough. I'm going to say Cadence of Hyrule. Just the beat, you got to jump to the beat, and it's, Zelda tunes and stuff. That's the winner. I like that game. I think Cadence of Hyrule wins it there because it's really, really good. Sports and racing game. For the best traditional and non-traditional sports and racing game. But the nominees are Crash Team Racing, Dirt Rally, Pro Football, F1 2019, and FIFA 20. So this is tough. I don't know which I would vote for. Let's just vote for Crash Team Racing for fun and move down from there. Strategy game. Best game focused on real-time or turn-based strategy gameplay irrespective of platform. Age of Wonders, Anno 1800, Fire Emblem, Total War, Tropico 6, and Wargroove. This again is very, very tough. In my opinion, Fire Emblem wins. I think Fire Emblem for sure. Okay, moving down to VR, AR game. For the best game experience playable in virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of platform. The nominees for this category are Asgard's Wrath, Blood and Truth, Beat Saber, No Man's Sky, and Trover Saves the Universe. So, to me, Beat Saber wins this one easily. Great music, a lot of fun, keeps you active. It's a heck of a workout and visually pleasing. And that's pretty much it. So I know this was a long video, but I really wanted to go through all of the categories, all of the nominees, and show you why I voted the way I did. Now, I really want to know what you voted for in the comments below. Please let me know because I'm really curious to see what people are voting for, especially people interested in my channel. But that's all I've got for today. So if you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't like the video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Thank you, everyone. Take care.